So we watched the 2018 Tomb Raider movie starring Alicia Vikander, a reboot, remake, reimagining of the first game of the reboot trilogy from, 2013?
That's what I was going to guess.
As well as a reboot, reimagining, whatever, of the two movies starring, what's her name? Angelina Jolie from the early 2000s. What?
You remembered the name. I gave you head pats.
Honestly, I've never really been into Angelina Jolie. She's had some really good performances, but this whole, she's the most stunning woman ever thing is a bit weird.
Yeah. Same thing for Mr. Tom Brady's wife.
Mr. Tom Brady's wife. The literal model with nothing else going for her?
Yeah.
Mr. Tom Brady's ex-wife, actually.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, model.
Yeah. So this movie, for me, I think is near the top of video game movies.
Pretty much.
Almost by default. Because it's fine. There's nothing that's atrocious about it. It's not cringe-inducing or anything, but it's also really not breaking new ground and does not take advantage of either its casting to the full extent or even the source material terribly well.
Yeah, it's watchable, but it's not gripping. I have a hard time remembering the ending, especially because it's I'm watching it to finish the movie at that point. It's not that I'm really invested in anything.
Yeah, for sure. The third act does especially digress a little bit into green screen effects, which are the roughest part of the movie.
Which is too bad, because I like the mystical, is it a witch or a god that's pissed off and gonna kill everybody? Or is it just a well-crafted tomb? I don't know.
I agree, and that's one of the reasons why the one thing in the movie that I do think sucks ass is turning the ending into a plague. Not a plague in theory. I like the whole, actually, maybe it's just an illness thing that takes people over very quickly.
Yeah.
I don't like that they come back from the dead like zombies. It's fucking stupid. The reboot trilogy
has a lot. That's what they do in the games, though.
But it's a fucking video game. And they have more justifying mechanisms in those games, especially the 2013 one, which has a very... You were
say especially Uncharted.
Basically. I'm not a big fan of that change. Alicia Vikander is very, very good in this role. Even when the stunts are covered by a lot of fake CG objects and stuff, I think she does a lot of the stunt work and the wire work, which I think all looks pretty solid.
Yep.
Strong commitment to the bit and so on. The rest of the performances are very bland. Really bland. It's just a bunch of nothing burgers.
The music is pretty bland.
I was going to argue not, actually. Whoa. It's not incredible. It's definitely not Junkie XL's best work, but it's not bad.
I don't remember any Sting in particular.
That's fair, I guess. It's better than his work on Sonic. Those are easily his worst pieces ever. Those two movies' soundtracks suck ass. You got to make a paycheck sometimes, though. It's going to happen. Sonic. I think the movie just kind of gets worse. As the runtime goes on, the beginning is weird and odd and starts off in an odd place, but there's real sets and real actors and fun stuff like that.
But what if we put a foxtail on Alicia Vikander's ass?
Do it on the bike. It's just always framed behind the ass. Yeah, it starts off solid, and then it's just as it goes along, the amount of sets and the amount of set dressing drastically reduces.
Yeah,
which is weird. I mean,
kind of feels like they were running out of money,
which is really weird because I highly doubt they made it chronologically. But especially the second act is this was made in one 300-foot by 300-foot square of jungle that they had to reframe from different angles and low so you couldn't see over the hill, or almost they constructed it on a soundstage, which is really weird.
Yeah,
just not a big fan of that. The lighting is fine when it's not a fully CG environment. I'll give it that.
You can definitely tell when it is a CG environment, though.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some pretty rough green screening in there. There's a couple of scenes that I do think are very well done, or not necessarily well translated, but her first kill is still probably the best scene in the movie, and it's one of the best parts in the game. There's obviously the dissonance between, holy cow, killing one person was so hard and painful, and then the next moment is just, fucking murder machine. But that's how video games work, so I'll buy into it. It's fine. that's really all there is to this
Kind of
one.
wish we could get a sequel just to see if it was like a one bad time kind of deal or if there's something chronic.
I agree. I also think if they were going to continue with vague-ish recreations of the reboot trilogy, that could have worked as well because it would have spiced up the scenery a lot.
Skip straight to the third one.
I was gonna say do all the snowy shit in the second one, so then you can go back to the jungle and make the jungle way better. So it has a strong contrast. Ironic because the third game is the worst one.
Yep. But the story was cool.
It was solid. Yeah, it's really it's not painful. It's a little overly long. It gets a bit meandering, but you know, cut 10-15 minutes out of the edit, it's a little better. It's yeah.
I rented it for $4.
Yeah. Is there anything comparable that comes to mind for you that's also in this echelon of it's alright?
Ooh. That's a good question.
Because, like, I would consider this, like, a very mediocre movie, but, like, actually mediocre. Not like, oh, it's mid. Like, this is the middle of the road. And most video game movies are abysmal.
This got 3.5 stars on...
Wow.
On...
Letterboxd.
Yes, thank you.
That's a 7 out of 10, dude. That's high.
Well, it's my most common rating. 5 movies down is Pokemon Detective Pikachu at 3.5 stars.
Yeah.
And then 5 movies up is the new Dungeons and Dragons at 3.5 stars.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. That's fair. I wouldn't necessarily put D&D in the same field of stuff, but that's fair. It squares off between those two. That's solid. Apparently, did you know that
Did you know? I love that effect that he does.
it's very funny. There's a recent TV show that came out with its first season that is getting a decent enough reception. It's based on a video game series, and I cannot remember its name to save my life.
Twisted Metal.
Thank you. That's what we're going to talk about next month.
Yes.
So, hopefully that goes well. Clowns and stuff.
Peacock.
I agree. Pisscock.